Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter's Movie Reviews. Today I want to talk about a movie that I just watched last night. It is new in 2025 and the movie is called Night of the Reaper. Okay, now this review is going to be spoiler free, or I'm going to try to keep it as spoiler free as possible, because horror movie lovers and horror movie fanatics, I would highly recommend this movie. I honestly was kind of surprised because I went into this thinking it was going to be very amateurish, which it was a little bit, but I thought that it was going to be amateurish in a really bad way, where I got like 10 minutes into it, and I was like, I cannot do this. I had seen the poster come up, and the poster looked fantastic. I was like, oh, I love anything retro that goes back to the 80s or the 90s. I grew up in that generation of horror movies. I can remember my friends and I in high school watching the Friday the 13th movies and the Halloween movies. The Halloween franchise is probably not just my favorite horror movie franchise, but my favorite movie franchise of life. I've seen all of the movies. I was just watching Halloween 2, the original, the other day. I love horror movies. I've seen so many horror movies, and so it takes a lot for me to be scared. It takes a lot for me to kind of feel like I'm watching something original. In fact, recently, in doing reviews of like the movie Weapons and some other horror movies like The Conjuring, one of the things that I said was that I feel like in 2025, 2024, a lot of horror movie directors feel like they have to kind of reinvent the wheel, and that they have to get like really intellectual with the concepts that they're doing. And I don't necessarily love that kind of horror movie. I don't love like a deeply intellectual horror movie where I'm kind of confused at the end of it, where I'm not even really sure what happened. That doesn't mean that I don't love intellectual concepts and horror movie franchises that carry from one film to the next. I do like that. And what I mean by that is like family relationships or revenge and things like that. I love those tropes in horror movies. But where a movie is so difficult, or it's more of like, is it a horror movie or is it an art installation piece? Like where it becomes like that for me, I lose sight of being scared. And for me, the reason why I originally loved horror movies and still love horror movies is because I like to be scared. That's what I originally liked about horror movies. And so when I watch a horror movie today, which quite frankly, very rarely happens, when I'm really scared, then for me, that is a good horror movie. And it doesn't really have to be that deep, okay? I like a movie that has jump scares in it, but they can't be cheap jump scares. Now, 3 or 4 cheap jump scares, I'm okay with that. But they have to be like authentic jump scares for me. I like a twist ending that I didn't see coming. I like something where I don't have it figured out. That's what I love, okay? I love when a horror movie uses elements of past horror movies or past scare techniques. If they're gonna, like, this is where we think about we have to reinvent the wheel, okay? You know, when you're walking through a dark woods, for example, that's something that we saw in Friday the 13th. We saw that in movies long before that had come out. Well, you can still use that in 2025, and you can just kind of up it and do it in a different way. There's ways to modernize that, right? Okay, so those are the kind of things that I like. So when I watched the trailer for this movie, I was like, to be honest with you, it looked very kind of like D-level film. I was like, this is just not going to be good, right? And so I had watched a trailer that a couple people sent to me, and it was on, I think it's on Amazon Prime, and it's called something like The Man with the Black Umbrella, and it's supposed to be like this docudrama about, I was almost going to rent it. I was going to pay my money to rent it. And then I started reading the reviews, and the reviews were so bad. And it's about this, like, it's told like documentary style. And it's about this guy that goes in and kills these people in the house. I watched the trailer. The trailer was so bad. It felt like art school, and not art school today, okay? Like art school, like high school art class when I was in high school in 1990 when I graduated. Like it felt very like something we would have done in like my senior art project, okay? Like that's what it felt like to me. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. So I was a little afraid of going into this movie and it being the same way. And I was even afraid of that 15, 20 minutes into it. So let me give you the background, the synopsis to the movie. Okay, so Night of the Reaper. Now, I watched it on Shudder. I think it's also playing on AMC, Philo. There's a couple other places you can watch it. I believe you can also rent it like on Amazon and Apple as well. And it came out this year. I don't believe that it has anybody famous in it whatsoever. But it's about this small town, and it's Halloween time. They don't say that it's Halloween time, but you can tell that because there's Halloween decorations out. And the secretary at the sheriff's office, she's got these, like, you know, devil horns on and stuff like that. So it's Halloween time. But before that, the movie starts, and it is this girl, and she's babysitting she's babysitting this boy and girl. And the boy is very, very afraid to go to bed because there is like supposedly this like monster in his closet. And his sister, he's probably like 6 or 7. She's probably like 9 or 10. I think it says that she's 10 in the movie. She's like making fun of him at the door. And the babysitter is like, you need to go to bed. And she's like, gets the sister, she coerces the sister to go to sleep with him. Okay. And then as this part I am going to have to spoil for you, but this is like only the first 15 or 20 minutes. And I'm not going to spoil it in a way that if you're watching it, it is a scary scene. So, so she goes downstairs and she's dancing to MTV. The pop culture references for the 80s, the clothing, everything. I mean, even the way the houses are decorated are, the only thing is that the sheriff's house from the front, when you're looking at it, it looks very much like houses like in my neighborhood in the 80s. But when they show it from the back, it looks very modern. So that was the only thing. But other than that, the pop culture references to the 80s I thought were fantastic because this takes place in the 80s. So, so then this babysitter, she's like dancing around. She's like smoking a cigarette that she steals from the parents. It very much kind of felt to me a little bit like paying homage to old horror movies like Halloween. There was like some references in here to Halloween that I caught like right away. And so she starts hearing stuff. She hears the garage door go up. She goes outside. The garage door is open. She walks outside. It's very slow paced at the beginning, and it's done fantastically how slow paced it's done. And she walks outside in the street. Trigger warning, there are several dead dogs that are like just laying around. It's a huge part of the movie. I won't tell you why, but it's a huge part of the movie. And so she keeps on seeing like these dead dogs and stuff like that, or she sees this dead dog in the street. And so she goes out there and she's like smoking a cigarette. She goes back inside, and then all this horrible stuff happens, and then she ends up getting murdered. It flashes forward to you think it's like a couple years later, and it's about this girl coming back from college, and she is like spent her first year in college. She's back. It's like fall break or something like that. You don't really know why she's back. You have no clue why she's back, but you know that something really horrible happened to her, but you don't know why. And she's like this best friend that is very much like leg warmer, side ponytail. She is like totally reminds me of like people that I was friends with in the 80s. And so she's supposed to babysit the sheriff's son, okay? Because the sheriff is like really good looking, and his wife passed away a couple years before. And so she's like babysitting the son so that she can become the new Mrs. Sheriff, right? But she gets really, really sick. And so she calls her friend that's like the straight A student, real smart, this new girl that came into town, her name's Dina, to babysit this kid. Well, what ends up happening over the course of this night is like this haunting, not paranormal. There's nothing paranormal about this movie, but this like haunting of like whoever killed the babysitter and has also killed like other people is like sending clues to the sheriff, and at the same time trying to scare Dina, the babysitter, who is babysitting it's all about the sheriff. Partly to scare the babysitter at the sheriff's house, and also is giving clues to the sheriff so that he can figure out like what happened with these killings. Okay, when you watch the first 15 or 20 minutes of it, it feels very amateurish. Like there's a lot of filming on VHS film, which is part of the movie. But I'm telling you, the pop cultural references, would I say like it's the most highly produced movie? I mean, no, I think it has to be a really low budget movie, but it was done really, really well. It probably was filmed over like a weekend or a week or something like that. I thought it was done fantastically well. I thought the story was pretty complex. Honest to God, I did not see, I mean, very rarely watching horror movies do I not see the twist coming. I did not see the twist coming. I did not see the twist coming at the end at all. And in fact, on Shudder, when you watch something, because I have Shudder for Dracula, when you watch Shudder, like underneath it, it has like people can write comments on it, and they were like the twist at the end, and I was like, I usually see twists at the end of movies, and I was like, I'm gonna see this coming a mile away. I did not see the twist coming at all. Not at all. And I don't think, I mean, like, and I was like, is it this person? Is it, I mean, I like went through everybody, and it's like such an unbelievable twist. And I was like, I mean, you could like think through a million scenarios and you still won't get it. And also one of the things that I love that they did in this movie was that they introduced like scary spaces and scary things that don't end up happening. So it's like, if I would say like, oh, scary pillow or something like that, and be like, oh, we're scared of that pillow. But then like, you're always looking for the pillow, but then the jump scare comes from over here. It's kind of genius and horror, right? Like, okay, like, anyway, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but there's like, they introduce things in the movie that you think you're going to be scared of, but that don't end up being scary at all. But then, because you're like looking over here, but then all of a sudden the jump scare comes from here. It's fantastically done, okay? The ending of it was a little cheesy. I didn't love how the ending happened. I thought it was just a little bit cheesy. I felt like it was kind of rushed at the ending. I actually feel like there was probably like 3 different endings, and this is the one that they opted for, is how I felt. I mean, the ending's fine. It works. It just, the dialogue at the end of the movie, for me, felt very staged in a way that the rest of it, the acting is pretty good in the movie. I was pretty impressed with the acting. I thought it was good. A lot of the filming of like people walking down the street, people walking areas reminds me of like Laurie Strode and Halloween. This is one of the very first horror movies in a very long time that I've actually gotten scared from. So I would highly recommend this. I thought it was good. I mean, do I think it's like the greatest horror movie that I've seen of 2025? No. But I would probably put it in my top 5. I thought it was really good. I thought I mean, if it's not low budget, it costs like, you know, $30 million to make, then no. But I thought it was a really great, like, I thought the script was great. I thought the writing was done well. I thought the dialogue was good. I thought the acting was good. I mean, even like the playoff of kind of like the stupid town cops, they kind of play into that a little bit, except for the sheriff. I thought it was really, really well done. I mean, there were cheesy moments, but the cheesy moments were kind of meant to be cheesy moments, you know? It wasn't camp for camp's sake. It was kind of like, almost like, the movie felt a lot of like it was paying homage to like movies that came before it, but I thought it was really well done. You know, would I give it 10 out of 10 stars? No, I'd probably get a 7.5. But it was scary. I watched it late at night. The dogs were sitting next to me, and I was scared. I didn't want to get up at one point. I was like, I knew I had to take them out. I didn't want to go outside because she's like looking out the woods. I didn't want to go outside. And, you know, but anyway, I thought it was pretty good. So anyway, if you've watched it, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.